Imagine a world in which witchcraft is real. Hey, I'm Tash and welcome to my first ever book haul. Please be kind to me. This is my first ever book haul, like doing it properly. And I have a lot of books to go through. I'm probably going to refer to Goodreads a lot just to get the blurb and like just the general gist of things, because a lot of the time I do cover buy and a lot of the time I don't really know a whole lot about the book that I'm going into. I like a certain vibe of book, I'll buy it and it'll be mine. But I'm saying that this is a very big book haul, like it's massive. I have 27 books here to cover and I'll try to go through it as fast as I can, but also not just like try and like skim through them all. I do want to take some time with each of them, but just not too much time. Anyways, let's get into it. I mean, that's what you're here for anyway. You're not here to see me blabber on. The first one I want to talk about is from the Goldsboro Science Fiction and Fantasy Fellowship. It's a subscription group that you can join that has limited edition books. I am no means affiliated with them, obviously not. Have you seen my subscribe account? Obviously not. But in saying that, I do love them. I do love them dearly. I only started with them at the beginning of the year and I've got my first two books here I wanted to discuss. The first one that I got was Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu. If I butcher any names, which is highly likely, I am awful at saying names and titles and anything in that regard. But Library of the Dead is the first one. Yeah, they always have really pretty sprayed edges. Inside, it's signed by the author, and then there's also like, it tells you what number you've got and how many it's numbered out of. You can figure out what books are coming up if you just look at their Instagram page or their website. But I like keeping the books a surprise. It's like a little gift to me every month. I never know what's coming. This one is about a girl. She drops out of school so she can become a ghost talker. So she talks to the dead. My guess is that it's going to take place in a library. If I read the blurb entirely, I'm sure it would say that. But from the title, I figure the Library of the Dead, it must have something to do with books. What else could it mean? But again, like I said, I don't really dive too much into it. I'll link all of the books down below so you can always just follow it through to figure out more about the books if you would like. That's the first one I got. The second one I got from the Fellowship was The Shadow in the Glass by, I don't know how to say the first name, it's like J.J.A. Harwood, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But it's a Cinderella retelling. Yeah, it is a Cinderella retelling, but with a twist. She makes a deal with the devil to get out, to get out of the situation she's in, and every wish has a price, obviously, and it's sort of like Cinderella meets a deal with the devil. I think that sounds freaking cool. So would you dare to make a wish? This one's spine is, edges are also freaking cool. Yeah, inside, signed by the author, and the numbers. That's the first two books done out of 27, only 25 to go. Okay, I went to a little $5 bargain thing, like sometimes you'll see in the supermarkets, there's like big tables filled with books, like books upon books, and they're all $5 each. And I got this one, Music from Another World, from there. I had been eyeing this off for a while at my own work, because I work in a bookstore, and I never picked it up. There's just other books I ended up buying first. That was the only thing. Like, you can tell I have 27 books here. I have no self-control. So the only reason I never picked this up for my work was just because other books just tended to fall slot before it. Music from Another World is definitely one I want to get to. I absolutely love LGBT books. One of my favorite genres ever, especially when they start getting mixed with other genres like fantasy. Love a good LGBT fantasy. This one is set in 1977. It's set in summer. I believe it follows two girls, and then there's like, it has to do with religion. I think it's just like accepting that they are who they are. It's obviously got a heavy music influence in it. Obviously Music from Another World. And I think it's just about two girls bonding over music, which is pretty cool. The next one is Queens of Geek by Jen Wild. This book I was pretty much forced to buy this book by a friend of mine. She finished it, absolutely loved it. I have another friend that's read it as well, and she also loved it. I really don't know too much. I know it's an LGBT book. On the back it says 3 friends, 2 love stories, and 1 convention, which sounds amazing. So it's really quick. It looks like a really quick read too. I'll probably get into this one before the year is up, to be honest with you. It looks really good. I cannot wait to get into it. Charlie likes to stand out. She's a vlogger and actress promoting her first movie at SuperCon, and Taylor likes to blend in. Another one I've been eyeing forever is Noelle Stevenson's Nimona. It's a graphic novel. I believe it follows a villain, and it's just meant to be a really funny story. My friend read it, the same one from before. She read it, and she loved it more than she expected to, so I obviously am going to get into it very soon. I love graphic novels because they're super fast and I can get my reading count up pretty fast. Definitely going to grab this one. I mean, definitely going to read this one soon, especially since it's recommended by Rainbow Rowell. Love Rainbow Rowell. But, I mean, on the back, it sounds Nemesis, Dragon, Science, Symbolism. Honestly, what more do you want? Next one is the third book in the Twinkle and Rishi series from Twinkle with Love. I don't know anything about this book. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't really want to learn anything about this book. Only because I haven't read the second one yet. I've read the first one, loved it, and I know that these follow different characters than the first one does, but I don't want to know anything. I don't want to spoil myself, so I'm not even going to look at the back. You will have to follow the link below for this one. I am sorry. Next is a reader's copy that I stole from work, The Coven by Lizzie Fry. Basically it was like if witchcraft was real, like in our time. Imagine a world in which witchcraft is real, in which mothers hand down power to their daughters, power that is used harmlessly and peacefully. Then imagine that the US president is a populist, can't say that word, who decides that all witches must be imprisoned for their own safety. It sounds like a fantasy dystopian, which is pretty cool, that it's like an urban fantasy mixed with dystopian sort of book. It also like seems like it's going to be like a feminist-y sort of book, which is also sort of cool. Victories Greater Than Death by Charlie Jane Anders. This one was actually sent to me by the publisher, not Titan Books, but New South Books. I believe this one follows an alien that's amongst the human race, and she has a mission, but the mission doesn't go according to plan. When does it ever? I have seen a lot about this one, like it's starting to pop up a lot on my Instagram. I'm excited to get into it. I know I've been saying that about every single one, but I'll probably keep saying it. I wouldn't own them if I wasn't excited about them. Next one I've actually read. I read it like just as I got it. It's Terabithia by Catherine Patterson. I absolutely love this movie. Like, when I watched it as a kid, it just stuck with me for some reason. And every time I watched it, I bawled my eyes out. And I was like, you know what I haven't done? Read the book. So I read the book, and the book is exactly like the movie. Like, down to a T. I haven't rewatched the movie, so I can't like confirm that but from what I remember about the movie, this one feels exactly like it, and I really recommend picking it up because it was really good and it made me cry, and there was one line in it right near the end about Leslie, and it like broke my heart. I'm not gonna say it in case you haven't seen the movie or read the book. I don't want to spoil you, but it's sad. The next was peer pressured into me by the same friend from before. It's The Flat Share by Beth O'Leary. I told her I wanted to start reading more adult contemporary books, and she told me to pick this one up because it's really cute, and she really, really enjoyed it. It's about a girl and a guy. They make an arrangement. One of them works day shifts and the other one works night shifts, so they share a flat. They share the same bed, but obviously at separate times, and obviously things don't go according to plan, and there's a little love story in there, and I think it sounds really cute, which is why I ended up folding and buying it. Girl, Serpent, Thorn by Melissa Bashados. Remember how I said earlier I'm gonna butcher names? Prime example. Ooh, my top button's come undone. Basically, it's about a princess that poisons or kills anyone she touches or if they touch her. And then her brother makes a deal, I think, or finds a monster or something to do with a demon that might have the answers to all her problems, and it's a sort of like morale sort of based story about whether it's right, whether they should be doing it, or... It seems really cool. It seems really fast as well, like it's going to be a fast-paced book. The writing is tiny, actually. Another book I was conned into by my friend, because she makes a lot of my book decisions for me, is Ice Station by Matthew Riley. She adores Matthew Riley with everything in her being. Recently, his first book of one of his series was turned into a hardback. Like the first hardback was different. The current hardback, I'll put pictures here. And so he went from the old hardback to the new hardback just so that everyone could have a matching set, which was really, really sweet of him. And in that discussion, she told me that if I had not picked him up, I needed to pick him up. So I did. It's not the series, it says it's standalone. She said there's polar bears in it, so, or whales in it. I don't know, either way, there's an animal in it, and I'm keen, I'm down, I'm ready to rumble. But this one is not a light read, unlike the others that I've been picking up. So I don't know when I'll get to it, but I'll definitely get to it, hopefully by the end of the year. Another one, a historical fiction lesbian book, I believe. I don't need anything else than that. That sounds fantastic. Like, let's go. It's set in America in 1954. An instant classic. Her depiction of first love felt so real that I experienced it in long since forgotten corners of my own heart. Oh, that's really cute. That's all I know, that's all I want to tell you. The Gaps by Leanne Hall. This one was also sent to me by Text Publishing. I'm very interested in this one. I didn't realize how interested I was in this one until I got it. It sounds really good. I love true crime, and I love reading crime and thrillers and all those. And this one's sort of like a mix of both. It's a fiction book. It's 100% a fiction book, so don't be led astray by that comment. Leanne Hall was very close to a murder that happened in her neighborhood. It inspired her to write this story. It's about a girl being abducted and like her chance of survival, and it sounds like a hard-hitting novel, but it also sounds really good. And it's like the book counts down in days, how many days she's been missing for. And I mean, it'd be interesting to see if she's found alive or dead in the end. When you watch true crime, it's a big wonder of whether or not they survived the ordeal. Speaking of that one, there is a book I have forgotten to include. So now we have 28 books that we're talking about. The Electric Kingdom by David Arnold is a book I did not know I needed to read. I really want to read his Mosquitoland, like it's been on my TBR forever. I don't own it. I know I have all these books and never picked that one up. But I really, really want to get a hold of this one. Not hold of it, I really want to read this one. It's like a sci-fi dystopian sort of book. When a deadly flu sweeps the globe. It's about like how a flu pretty much destroys the human race, and I don't know, like I think it follows obviously a group of teenagers because it's a YA book, but it follows them, and I'm sure they're not gonna save the world, but I'm sure they're gonna do something along those lines also. Don't know a lot about it, know that he's a fantastic author. There's another one that was sent to me by New South Books that is Near the Byron by Christina Henry. She has written a few other books before. I haven't read any of her books, but this one is like a thrillery, horror-y sort of one. It's about a girl and a guy, and they think that they're alone in the mountains until they find out that they're not. And it's spooky sounding and right up my alley, and I might save this one for Halloween. I know that's forever away, but there's so many books on my shelf that I haven't read. My percentage of reading compared to what I own is ridiculously embarrassing, and that's not a number I'm sharing unless you convince me to share it. Fable by Adrienne Young. I'm waiting on Namesake. It's not out in Australia yet. We have different covers. I really love the hardback covers when you put them together and it makes a face. That is so freaking cool. But we just got this one. Did it work? Social media made me buy this one. Like 100%. Not just this one, but also these ones. I also bought these ones because of social media as well. The other ones also aren't out in Australia yet because it takes forever things to come out here. I know that these are vampire-y. I know that there's a school involved. I know that everyone loves this book. Beyond that, that's all I know. And you know what I've been missing? I've been really missing like the paranormal romance YA. Like it doesn't really exist as much anymore. And I know this, I'm pretty sure this isn't YA, but like I love, like it's what got me into reading. I got into reading because of Twilight and Vampire Academy and all those books that came out around that time. Those are the ones that got me into reading. And man, oh man, do I I have a sudden craving for paranormal romance in YA books. I want to attend a school or an academy with a teenager and like follow the ride and for it to be sick and sweet. But I want a new story. I've read them. Dirt Circus League by Marie Kimberly is also one that was sent to me by Text Publishing. They're all very kind for sending me these books. How did I end up on their mailing list? Fantastic question. I have no idea. I think it might have been when a few years back they reached out to me and asked to promote this one for them on my Instagram page. And I did that. And it was a lot of fun. I loved it. Like, it sounded better in my head. By Nina Kenwood is a fantastic book. They did not need to send me a copy for me to say that. Back to Dirt Circus League, a book I know nothing about. I believe this story, from barely reading the blurb on the back, is about a girl who's unhappy with her life and she runs away and she joins the circus. But it's like not an ordinary circus, I believe. Don't hold me to that. Another one is by the author of Sadie. I haven't read Sadie, but I read her other one. I haven't read Sadie, but I read this one, Cracked Up to Be, by Courtney Summers. I read that one. It was okay. My friend who recommends all these books to me has read Sadie and she said it's a lot better than Cracked Up to Be and that I really need to read it. But this one looks fantastic and I bought it. Even if she was a debut author, even if I knew nothing about her books, I would have bought this one. Because the cover looks fantastic. Like the detail in it. I freaking love this cover so much. I love like in her hair. There's like a whole like scene thing going on. Fantastic. Yeah, this is a crimey sort of novel. It sounds like a dystopian sort of novel, actually. Like, she wakes up and her whole family is dead and she believes that this organization is against it. And it's like her trying to uncover the truth of her family's death. And that sounds freaking cool. Like, I thought it was just going to be like a thriller. Like, well, we're going to have some action, we're going to have some scary moments, and like, people are going to die. I mean, people did die and there still might be action and scary moments. But not what I was expecting. Still definitely want to get into it. The next one I have read, I actually already owned the reader's copy, but when I really like a book, I always try to go out of my way to get the actual book, which is what I did here. This is the reader's copy, this is the actual book. Yeah, I found this one at the $5 place, which was freaking amazing because I planned to buy this anyway. It just depended on when I had the finances to do so. I always like to, there's a lot of reader's copies that I've read in here that I really need to get myself into gear and buy the actual books for. But I love supporting authors that I love, and I know if I just read the reader's copy, that's not doing enough. I like to know that I am helping the authors out as much as I can, because if we don't support our authors, we're not going to have any authors to read, because there's not going to be any money in it. And as much as they love to write, they have to have their own job, man. Like, they have to have a way of living, and if they can't spend all day writing if they're not getting any money for it. So please support your authors. I mean, I know I don't have to tell you this. I mean, you're here watching a book haul. I'm sure you love buying books yourself. Anyway, rant over. It's about a girl who loses her family in a fire and she gets really badly burned. And so she's scarred after it and she doesn't have the same confidence that she did. I'm pretty sure she goes to a whole new school because she was a popular girl at her old school and she just doesn't have the courage to go back there because she's not going to be the girl she used to be and she knows she's going to get bullied for it. And so, yeah, it's about a girl finding her confidence again, figuring out who she is after this traumatic event. It's a really good book. I really recommend it. Emergency Contact by Mary H.K. Choi. I believe this is the author of the new one that's out, Yoke. I haven't read either of them. I got this one at the $5 thing as well. It just seems like a cute little love story. I love YA contemporaries. They're like one of my favorite reads. Especially quick ones, like ones that you can fly through, ones that are like easy and simple, like there's not a whole lot of thinking you need to do. Some of these I'm going to go into that I really don't know a whole lot about. They're like a step out of my comfort zone and I'm not sure if I'll enjoy it or not. I got them from the $5 bookstore and I figure if there's any time to grab some books that I really am not 100% sure on, that I might read when I'm in one of those moods where I'm like, I need to read something different. I need to make sure I'm stepping out of my comfort zone. But I got them then. And at the end of the day, if I don't end up reading them or I figure I'll never get to them, I can always re-gift them or I can give them to a secondhand bookstore or I can put them into one of those like exchange trees, like, you know, you put one, you take one. This book is New Boy by Tracy Chevalier. I believe it's a retelling of one of Shakespeare's stories. Yeah, Othello. William Shakespeare's Othello, I don't know how to say it, retold as New Boy. So if you're a big fan of Shakespeare, might be the book for you. I am not a big fan of Shakespeare. I had to read it one too many times at uni and high school, and I don't know, maybe ask me 10 years from now, I might actually be willing to give them another go, but for now, I didn't buy it for the Shakespeare aspect. I bought it because it seemed cool. Also, it's a hardback. These are like chook's teeth to find in a bookstore. Hardbacks, unless you order them in or get them from America, so hard to find in Australia. It's like mostly just paperbacks. That's why the majority of what I've gotten here is paperback. But New Boy, he's really cute. The Blind Astronomer's Daughter by John Pipkin. This is another one that I bought, step out of my comfort zone. It's about an astronomer who ends up looking into the sun and he blinds himself and his daughter sort of takes over his work and tries to help him where she can. that's all I know about it. It sounds interesting, to say the least, and I can't wait to read it. This one I bought thinking it was a dystopian. The Last Boy and Girl in the World by... can't say the name. That's the name there. Not a dystopian. It is actually about a family that's moving away, and so they sort of decide to have like one last hurrah before they do move. It's like about a girl accepting that she has to lose all her friends, well, not lose them, but separate, part with all of her friends in order to move on with her parents to this new life that she's going to have. And I don't know, it sounds like, it's not what I expected when I picked it up, because I didn't read the blurb when I picked it up. I was like, oh, pretty cover, I'm going to buy it. And I was like, oh, it looks like a dystopian, but it's not. Next is another one that I don't know when I'll get to. It's called Cell by Mick Kitson. This one follows a girl and her little sister. This one seems like it's going to be a hard-hitting novel because her older sister, the main character, started getting abused when she was 10 by her father, and she knows that her little sister is about to hit that age, and she doesn't want her little sister to go through the same thing, so she's been planning for a year, and finally they run away together, and it follows that story of them trying to figure out life together. And I'm guessing that there's going to be a hunt for them because the father's just not going to let them go that easy. And, you know, life isn't going to be as easy as they expect it to be either. It'll be interesting. And the final one, which I'm very excited about, which I'll definitely read this year before the fourth one comes out, is Jennifer L. Armentrout's The Crown of Gilded Bones. You have no idea how much I loved the end of the second book, making the second book my favorite in the series so far. I'm so excited to get into this one. I have not even read the spoiler chapters that she released on her website. I refuse to, because I knew if I read them without the book being here, that I wouldn't be able to survive. I need the rest of it. So I'm going to finish my current reads so I can move on to this one. That's my book haul for today. That's 28 books. Probably 28 books too many for some of you. But thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Just a quick reminder that you don't have to spend all your money on books, because, you know, you can enjoy other things in life other than buying a lot of books for your shelf and then having no money, even though you'll never get to those books. Not never, but like it'll take a while before you get to those books. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you guys. I'll see you next time. Bye!